process, so yes.
And did the Minister have any input into the review or the production of this document?
Senator, with respect, just above the picture of the wonderful fire danger indicator that we built beside most of large freeways in Australia, in that paragraph above, it actually says, in 2019, Southern and Eastern Australia experienced record low rainfall and record high temperatures, which have contributed to increased frequency of fire weather days. So isn't that point covered there?
Mr Marshall, I'm trying to understand, I guess, the provenance of the changes to the document. That was the question that I asked Mr Mayfield, and I'm
Senator.
waiting to find out whether or not the Minister's office was involved in reviewing this document.
So we shared later versions of this document with range of stakeholders, all of the participants of the roundtable. We also share that with the Minister's office.
What date did you provide it to the Minister's office, Mr Mayfield?
I don't have that date in my mind. I can get that for you.
Perhaps someone sitting behind you could.
And Senator, also on the second page in the first paragraph, that text that you read out from the original draft is actually repeated here. In addition to 2019 being the driest year since record began in 1900, it was Australia's warmest year. 2019, the annual mean temperature was 1.52 degrees C above average. So I believe that covers what you thought was missing.
Did the Minister's office request any changes to the document, Mr Mayfield?
We had changes and observations suggested by all of the participants in this exercise.
Did the Minister's office request any changes, Mr Mayfield?
I believe there would have been some suggestions, yes.
When you say there would have been, that's not a very precise answer. Did the Minister's office request changes? It's a question of fact.
There was suggestions made by all participants, yes.
Mr Mayfield,
Senator, if I can...
You have an obligation to correctly and honestly answer the questions of the Senate.
Senator, if I
Did
can...
the Minister's office request changes to the draft that was provided to them?
Senator, we said at the beginning of our testimony that all participants of the round table contribute to the document, but it's a CSIRO document, carries the CSIRO brand, goes through the CSIRO process, and CSIRO held the pen. It's a CSIRO document. We wrote it. We wrote it for the purpose of explaining to the public, because let's face it, you can't understand what's going on with bushfires by reading the media. We wanted to give a simple explainer of the causes behind the fires and the actions we're taking to the public. It's really that
Mr
simple.
Marshall, if that's true, there should be absolutely no objection to being transparent and open about whether or not the Minister sought changes from your organisation to the document that was presented to them.
Senator, you've asked the same question three times now, and I've answered you 3 times. All participants to the round table contributed to the document, but ultimately...
So the answer is yes.
People from the Minister's office, people from the department were in the room.
Chair, I think the question has been asked several times.
All right, I'm going to ask a different question.
Times.
My question is, what did the Minister's office request be changed in the draft?
I would have to take that on notice, Senator. I don't have all that detail with me.
I would like to ask, when you do provide answers to the Senate on this question, Mr Mayfield, I'd like to know precisely what it was that they asked to be changed. I'd like to see any correspondence that was provided to CSIRO in relation to the changes sought by the Minister's office, and I'd like to receive any file notes that were taken by any member of staff in CSIRO about the changes requested by the Minister's office. And I understand that you'll be taking that on notice.